are not fun. Sorry, I mean they're not just fun. They're also fascinating in terms of their history. Taking time off work to stay in a nice hotel abroad in the 17th century? Forget about it. The weekend didn't even exist yet, let alone annual leave. Today I'm going to tell you how Londoners came to even have holidays in the 21st century, and how we used to spend our leisure time compared to how we spend it now. I'd like to thank Hilton for sponsoring this video. They have a summer sale on until the 3rd of September where you can get 25% off your hotel stay. And they are offering my viewers, that's you, vouchers for 2 complimentary night stay. If you'd be interested in that prize, and look, I don't have millions of subscribers, you could totally win this. Check out the details in the description or watch this video and I'll explain at the end. The very first holidays in the UK were pilgrimages, although these were less holidays, more just time spent away from regular work. In the UK, pilgrimages meant going to places like Lindisfarne or Canterbury or Winchester. Occasionally they would even go abroad to Rome or Jerusalem. There were no holidays in the sense we know them today. You travelled for work, war or religious reasons. That's not to say that no one living in medieval London would have had any leisure time. They did have holy days, the origin of the word holiday, and one popular leisure activity was to play a rough form of football, something that Londoners still do on their downtime today. From 1600 to 1800, a vacation for the less than well-off classes wasn't a possibility. But for gentlemen, their education usually took them on a grand tour around Europe to study art and culture in person, which could last up to 3 years. Can you imagine a 3-year holiday? Must be nice. Interesting fact, it's long been cited that Pierre Bellon was the first to call his Exeter establishment a hotel in 1770. However, in 1764, a Mrs. Martin of King Street, St James's Square, put an advert in the London Evening Post on the 17th of November, inviting people to stay at the Gentleman's Hotel in King Street. Sorry Pierre, London had it first. It wasn't until July 1841, when Thomas Cook organised the first ever package tour, that holidays away from cities like London became affordable for anyone other than the super rich. At a shilling a head, this was somewhat doable for the middle classes, who could also take to the spas of Bath and Leamington for health reasons, a practice you might be familiar with if you're a fan of Jane Austen, or if, like me, you just like spa retreats. But for the rest of London, a city break still wasn't possible, so what did they do? Well, it was only in the 19th century that everyone had just Sunday off, and it took until the 1890s for workers to get Saturday off as well. Men and women who weren't tired by their long working day hours could attend evening courses at working men and women's colleges. They might go to the parks and listen to a band or have a picnic. Zoos were also very popular, especially with children who had the opportunity to ride elephants and camels. In 1851, they might have visited the Great Exhibition at Crystal Palace. And in 1881, the Natural History Museum opened. Working class holidays were finally possible at the end of the 19th century at seaside resorts like Brighton and Blackpool, which were in favourable distance of the industrial cities. They were places that they could afford to go, even just for the day. In 1939, a new law in Britain said that everyone must have 1 week's paid annual holiday, which was changed to 2 weeks a few decades later. And most people had 4 weeks by the 1980s. Trips abroad were much more common as well, by boat and then eventually by plane, and then by train with the opening of the Channel Tunnel in 1994. With so much competition, London has to really step up her game to keep Londoners interested in what's happening in the city. Pop-ups are a great way for Londoners to spend their leisure time, particularly if they're the type who's lived in the city for a long time and has essentially been there and done that for everything. It gives them something new to try. Pop-ups themselves became popular in the UK over the last decade. The 2008 recession meant businesses struggled to stay afloat and retail spaces became empty, and temporary shops were able to make good money without long-term worries. In more recent years, pop-ups have begun to slide away from the cool end of the scale because of what has been called the hipster backlash. But if you get a pop-up right, you can expect a line out the door. This pop-up has been set up by the Hilton hotels for their summer sales, and they've been giving away 1,000 free pina coladas all afternoon. But why the pina colada, I hear you ask? It's actually quite an interesting story, and one of their favourites to tell. In 1954, a Hilton bartender called Ramon Monchito Marrero created the pina colada at Caribe Hilton in Puerto Rico by mixing rum, coconut cream and pineapple juice, which he perfected over 3 months. It actually originally started as a milkshake, but once Monchito added the alcohol and removed the ice cream and vanilla, people went nuts for it. Monchito served the drink for 35 years, and the pina colada became Puerto Rico's official drink in 1978. Now the drink is world-renowned and synonymous with holidays, especially summer beach holidays. But it works for cities too. Other ways Londoners spend their holiday time in the city is by checking out fun local activities like mini-golf, indoor skiing, ping pong, seeing a theatre show, afternoon tea, board game cafes, and a summertime favourite, drinking on rooftop bars. This is the Doubletree Hilton at the Tower of London, and it has to be one of my favourite rooftop bars. Places like these have some of the best views of the city, and it wouldn't be a video about holidays if I didn't end up in a hotel, right? So by now I hope that you have gained an insight into how holidays came about and have a desire to go away on one. Here's where I help you do that by getting a hotel night stay for free with Hilton Hotels. First, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Second, write in the comments below your dream Hilton destination or hotel location and why you want to visit there. You have a week to enter the competition, at which time I will be announcing the winner on my Twitter and Instagram profiles. So make sure you follow me there too so you can see if you win. All the details and the terms and conditions are in the description below. Good luck, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers!